my soul there when I need them. Fear brings sorrow, spirit brings freedom. No guarantees of tomorrow, a time barred. I hear the greatest in me start screaming carpe diem. And no, I never seen him, I know he for me. So when the sky's stormy, address the test before me. The toughest opponent to seize the moment, cause the best story is die empty and rest in glory. That's how we stay focused on a deadline and reminded where our hope is. We pay no mind to headlines when we wrote this, just trying to redline and redefine what woke is. Truth and destiny, they both timeless. I find them lining up next to me, so they bind us. This is the moment and your boy can't disappoint. Gospel was a topic until it became the point. I've lived out my trunk, I've had extra cars. I know both sides, now you know why we try to set the bar. Nowadays, like everybody trying to be Escobar. Christ set the price, so think twice and check the scars. Deny flesh and walk right, we rest well. Back then we was chasing Rolexes and SLs. I preach truth, but drug talk and sex sells. Come a long way from plug talk on those Nextels. Long way from payphones and throttling bikes. There were no follows and likes, we was all just following mics. Always in flight by insight, we was modeling Nikes. Always in lights by invite, it was bottles and ice. Crazy how we buy in, but what if the lies really taught us? Pass through immigration where they link ties to deport us. Now it's imitation for the ink dries, we pushing the borders. No limitation when we think wise, God giving the orders. I've lived out my trunk, I've had kingdom.
You got that Jesus music, but the knock door. Adam, let him know what it is.
Yeah, it's your boy Adam. I'm back, I was gone quick. Rap equivalent of Don Chick. Christ handled the ransom right. We advanced the light. Let me make a briefcase. Best handle since Samsonite. Never did parody. I just give them clarity. And daily storytell to point you where the glory dwell. Couldn't make this up, man. This is not L'Oreal. His grace abounds. It became greater the more we fell. You can't sort of sin like I can't sort of win. Wisdom I brought her in. Win the doctrine quartering. West Palm ignore the grin. I just been full ordering. And keep it in 100 million like Elon Nordegren. I'm a dying breed, not many telling the truth. I preach heaven outside and give them hell in the booth. Then shadowbox these 16s. Take time to figure for this. In the hopes I'll catch bodies like rigor mortis.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jason Andre Roberts, aka Conquest of your DeProgrammed podcast. This particular interview took place on October 31st, 2024 on IG Live. Unfortunately, we had some sound issues with me and Ari, but Adam, our guest, sounded great, but I put captions in anyway. Fortunately, that only lasted for half of the interview. So half of the interview is in captions, the other half not so much. But either way, everything is there for you to enjoy the interview. So feel free to enjoy it. And now back to the episode.
What's going on?
I'm good. Can you hear us?
Wait. Oh, I can hear you. Yeah.
Perfect.
There's a little.
Yeah.
There's a little reverb, like a little bit of an echo, but
a little bit of echo.
Yeah, it's not too bad. That's not bad.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Truth be told, full disclosure, I'm at a gas station in Suffolk County, New York. I'm like looking at the clock and I got caught up. I'm like, I'm just going to pull into a gas station. I'm chilling, baby.
We got on it. Listen, we know you're a busy man.
It's the road less taken, baby. The Long Island Expressway.
I love it. Listen, let's do our spiel before we bring you in. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to do like some auxiliary work before you came in, but we did that. So, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jason Andre Roberts, aka Conquest.
And I'm Arianna Apparicio, aka ARI.
Welcome to your DeProgrammed podcast, where now it's not just specially regularly scheduled DeProgrammed. It is the next conversation series, actually. It's a combination. Exactly. So, this is a combined episode, a combined podcast thing, because, you know, with Next Conversation Series, we do a lot of like artist interviews, but I couldn't leave Arianna in this. So we're just bringing it together. And speaking of not giving out people, I want to welcome our guests, our esteemed guests. Listen, I just want to let you know, one of the guys that has one of the best albums of the year is literally in the chat right now. So if you're out there, I need fire emojis. I need love taps. I need 100s. I need the whole thing. And ladies and gentlemen, let's back right now. We're going to welcome to the NCS and the YDP New City Zone.
Thank you so much for making the time. And, you know, I just, it's a special time and a special day in my life. And I just appreciate you guys, you know, making a point to bring illumination to the album, because it's an exciting situation.
Yeah. Yes.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. We have a couple of questions. Are you ready to get on the hot seat for this new album?
My whole life is, I came out the womb under the hot seat. This is my natural habitat, baby.
This guy right here. Oh my gosh. All right, bro. Listen, I'm thinking about how I really want to start, right? Because there's so many things that we're going to cover. But first of all, I want to say this, man. Two things we got to say. Adam's new album is this Friday. It's out this Friday. The pre-order is out right now. You go to atom.bandcamp.com. You can get the pre-order, get that situated. You know what I'm saying? For the Road Less Taken, that's the new album that drops November 1st. It's only on Bandcamp. And we're going to get into why it's only on Bandcamp as we talk on the conversation further. And of course, the listening party. The album release is going down this Saturday as well. So we're going to get into all of that. But before we even get there, bro, how did we get here? How did we get to this album? Because you've been sitting on this for a while. Like,
You said it's 6 years old. Is what you're
you've been waiting. 6 years old, you've been waiting. How did we get here, bro? Talk to us.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm actually proud. I'm typically not a very patient person, but I'm very proud about my patience, because I kind of put a plan in place that I was gonna, you know, try to make 100 records while making this album, so that I could, you know, not only build a fan base, but that I could feel like, you know, I already have a catalog in place. I already have kind of an understanding of the ebb and flow of the music industry before I put the album out. And there were many times over the last 2 years that I wanted to kind of rush it to the finish line and get it out. And combination of, you know, it wasn't done, it needed tweaks, it needed cleanup, it needed, you know, another song, whatever. And then finally, you know, the Lord got me to the point where he was like, okay, you know, 2024 is going to be the year that you start releasing singles to gain the momentum of the album. And then you're going to put it out at the end. And then all of 2025 will be kind of, you know, living that album out over the course of, you know, the year. So, yeah, I mean, I just, it's certainly been a long journey, like, you know, from, you know, my childhood of wanting to be a rapper. And then from these last 3 years since I started the album, just bringing it to fulfillment. And, you know, it's interesting. I've made 7 EPs that I put out in the last 2 years. 2 of them I made in less than 72 hours. And it's amazing how when you take on an album, for whatever reason, it takes so much more work, so much more time, and you don't give yourself the same leeway to just kind of throw it together that you do with, say, an EP or whatever. So how we got here, to be honest with you, I think I have a lot of PTSD from the last 46 years, but so a lot of it's glitches in the matrix, but I'm very happy to be at the finish line, and there does, it is one of the most fulfilling feelings of my entire life is getting to the point of putting out the first ever album of my life. It really is a benchmark moment in my life, for sure.
Yeah, as it should be. So you mentioned something really quick about, you know, the fact that you did EPs, which I was the witness for, within 72 hours, as opposed to having Road Less Taken take all this time, right? So I was watching an interview with this artist who may or may not know, named Dolce, right? And she was talking about her album around her mixtape. being different than the album that she's going to present later on to the world, because she has a mixtape now that sounds like an album, but she said that how it was a different type of pressure. It was just like, with the mixtape, I could just do what I want, right? Do you feel like that was a certain case with you, where it was like, hey, the EP, not that you didn't care about it, you had a little bit more abilities and freedom, whereas with Road Less Taken, it felt different?
Yeah, so it actually was not meant to be a 19-track, 18-song album. I was making two different albums, two 9-song albums with two different producers, Chris Thompson and Cy Ray. So my plan when I was making the two of them simultaneously, one was going to be called Identity. That was the one with Chris, and the other one was going to be Road Less Taken. And my plan was put the one out with Chris and kind of ride that for 6 months and then do a follow-up with Cy Ray. And what happened was as time went on.
You talked about that. You did mention that you were going to do that, right? I do remember. Yes.
And that was the plan all along. And then there were different points where I'm like, man, maybe I should just make it a big album. And, I talked with my team and, I had different viewpoints. They had different viewpoints. Ultimately, I was always going to make the decision. And it was like, there were times where I was like, are people going to really sit and absorb 18 songs? Yes. And then other times I'm like, there's so many good records. I do think I should put it out as two different albums because they'll both be really good and it'll buy me a whole year, and I just went back and forth. And then eventually I said, no, I might not make another album. I want this to be my absolute best work. Now, if the two of them didn't work well together, I would have not done it. But what happened was I had the continuity with Chris and I had the continuity with Cy Ray because I already gave them album names before we started and what I wanted them to be about. And then when I was like, you know what? The first half is going to be my identity and how I got to who I am. And then the second one is going to be the Road Less Taken, kind of illustrating that I took a different route than the average person. So it really turned into something that worked fluidly together, and that's how it became one album. So I made the two at the same time, but I didn't make them to be one album. It just worked out to be that way.
Yeah. So here's a question now, because I am a Robert Frost fan. And I noticed that you said the Road Less Taken. Robert has a Road Not Taken.
Yep. So
is there any influence there? And can you talk more about the cover art as well? We saw that it was the winding steps up the mountain. Talk us more through that concept art.
Well, so it definitely played a role in the sense that I am 45 now. But when I was in college, I was the salutatorian of Manhattan College in 2001. They chose 3 students, me and 2 others. I was the best student in communications. They got the best student in the science department and the best student, I think, in the English department. And they had a competition to determine who was going to be valedictorian of Manhattan College. And what they did was they asked the 3 of us, create your speech as if you won valedictorian. And you're going to give that speech to the whole faculty, and then we'll decide who wins. And I centered my valedictory speech around the Road Not Taken by Robert Frost. And so that was very impactful to me. And it kind of, when I reflected on, my life, I was like, wow, from the time I was young and certainly from the time I became an adult when I graduated college, I really felt like my journey has been very unique. And I said, you know what? I'm going to tap into the earlier portion of my life and kind of reflect that. So absolutely, that played a role.
Yeah, that was one of the first things that I already noticed. Besides the cover art, and listen,
I love that film. That film also speaks to my life. So I was like, I wonder if Adam is inspired by this. And he goes all the way back to college. And that's sitting and resonating from college.
Yeah,
absolutely. Absolutely. So you're talking about 25 years ago, 25 years ago was when I was graduating college. And, that just, and even I integrated things, and we'll get into it more also on Saturday Conquest. But if you look at the first single that I rolled out, Human, I shot that music video on the train that I took to go to Manhattan College. So I'm at the Van Cortlandt Park exit, which is Manhattan College.
Right.
So I shot that video in a spot where it was such a big part of my college experience. And I integrated so many different things from chapters in my life. But for me, because I was doing the road less taken, it really all started at that Manhattan College train stop of the 1 train.
Wow, paying homage.
Yeah.
Paying homage to the roots.
I love that
That's
nostalgia.
amazing.
So Ari asked about the cover art. Can we talk about the cover art? Who designed it? What was the story behind that? Why did you pick that to go along with the title? What's the story?
Totally. So I can't take credit, nor would I want to, for the cover art in the sense of what was actually created. Conquest knows Charlie Summers. Charlie Summers is director of my visuals, so he shoots my music videos. He plays a big role in my branding, and I entrust all the visual side of my artistry to him.
Right.
We've dialogued a lot about merch ideas. We've dialogued a lot about, artwork ideas, about, integrating the concept of like Adam in the garden, atoms that were made from, and all things to all mankind, Adam, and all those different things. And what I did tell him is I wanted you to convey, a unique journey, a hard, arduous journey to my destination, which, even not that I've arrived, but forgetting what's behind, I press on towards the prize. And having a feel of both being in the heavenly realm, but also in the Garden of Eden. And that's where the tree came from and stuff like that. So it's a play on the Garden of Eden and also being, in the heavenly realms. And if you see the tree, he kind of integrated it being both above and below and kind of the cloud cover. And so, yeah, that's kind of where all that came from. And then obviously the track listing, me leaning against that tree represents the tree in the garden. And it also represents, reaching the destination of releasing the album that I said I'd put out when I was 6 years old. So, there's obviously a lot of layers to it, but Charlie did an absolutely, per usual, his stuff always just is on a different level. So I didn't see it. I didn't see it until 2 days ago when I released it. I had never seen it. That's how much trust I have in him. He just literally, I literally said to him, and by the way, when it comes to Charlie is the toughest critic in the world, right? So it's like, there's been videos he shot for me where he's like, I don't really like it, and I haven't seen it. And he sends it to me, and I'm like, dude, this is insane. And then like 9 months later, we'll be driving, and it'll be like, yo, you know that video? I've been watching it. I kind of like it now. I'm like, bro, you're the only one who doesn't like it until now. So there's no better words than I can hear from Charlie. So I call him 2 or 3 days ago, whatever day I put it out. I haven't seen a thing. I said, whatever you send me, I'm posting. It's coming out in 2 days. I said, let me just ask you, do you like it? And he goes, yeah, I like it. I'm like, that's all I need to know.
Complete trust.
I posted it less than 5 minutes after he sent it to me, and I didn't even see it.
Well, listen, he did a fantastic job. I think you remember the comment I left. I said it was gorgeous. It was like a gorgeous album where I think it's going to be an incredible body of work. And shout out to Charlie, man, because Charlie does visuals, he did the cover art, and he's on a bunch of the songs on the album. So he raps too. Charlie
is one of the most talented people I've ever met in my life. Like when it comes to music, visuals, videography, all the arts, he's out of here. He's on some Kanye levels, you know what I'm saying? And so now if you're coming, listen to me, if you're coming to my album release, I'm talking to whoever's watching this, do not ask Charlie to shoot things. You cannot afford him, trust me. He does me a favor, but please don't even entertain it. But no, all jokes aside, Charlie is such an asset to my life, both as a person, as the director of my visuals. And to your point, he is one of the stars on the album. I mean, he's on 3 of the records, shot all 6 of the videos, which mile markers dropping tomorrow. And he's just helped me as a person. He's helped me grow in my perspective on life. He's helped me grow as an artist. He's helped me understand the brand that I want to be, because I convey to him what I want my brand to be. And a lot of times, to be honest with you, I know what I want it to be, but I don't actually understand how to really fully execute it. And Charlie really helps me to get all these different ideas and all these different directions I want to go and channel it in the right direction. So he's a real MVP in my life, man.
Love it, love it. Listen, so I got some questions that have to deal with the artist that's on the album and all those type of things. I'm definitely going to ask you about that. And there's some other things I want to throw in there. But I'm going to let Ari take the floor, because I'm not sure what Ari's going to ask, but I know she has something that she wants to address. I know that they were, in terms of like, in fact, you know what, Ari? I want you to tell Adam how you found him. Your first encounter with him.
Oh, so my first encounter was your verse on MLK.
Nice.
And
Nice.
in my house, and I was like, everything's a vibe, MLK is great, Martin, LeBron, Kobe, everyone's chanting in the house. And I just hear this one guy rap, and I was like, so I think I'm cooking spaghetti or something. I just stopped, and I'm just like, who's that? I'm at the video, and I was like, yeah, that's the guy. That's the guy. Like, who is that? He's like, that's Adam. That's my friend Adam. I was like, he's amazing.
Wow.
So Rihanna, Garrett was on there too?
Yeah, it was Richard Dolphin.
Richard, yeah. But when we started spitting, I was like,
Wow.
my house stopped. It was just like, and my kids 5 and 7. Like,
Wow. Boy, that's one of the nicest things anybody said to me. Thank you. So that means the world to me, and that could bring me to tears. But that's what I want, is not for people to be like, oh, when I heard you, I just stopped, but more just I want to impact people, especially for Christ. And it's like, when people say things like that, and I'll never forget you saying that, that means the world to me. It tells me that I'm over the mark, I'm over the target, because, if people aren't being impacted, because I'm just a vessel to preach Christ. So if I'm not capturing people's attention and diverting that attention to Christ, then I'm failing. So when I hear things like that, it just puts a lot of wind in my sails. So thank you for saying that. That means the world to me.
Absolutely, and your craft and the mastery of your craft definitely shows in what you do.
Wow.
So it's well deserved. Your flowers are well deserved.
Wow. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, speaking of teamwork and trust,
Yes.
I guess we can segue into these teachers.
Yeah, listen. So
The speeches are incredible as well.
Yeah.
It definitely shows that you handpicked and manicured how everything was going to go.
Yeah.
It's so meticulous.
Yeah, but there's a lot of features on the album. Some names are familiar to me, some aren't. But there are 2 people that really was the ghost face to your Raekwon, if you were to compare Road That's Taken to like Only Built for Cuban Links. And that was Will Hader and Cole Campbell, because they were on the album the most. They were on 3 records. They were on Cross and Bridges. They were on Mile Marker. What else am I missing?
Well,
I feel like
Will was on Trailblazers with Selah.
Yeah.
Cole was on Romerican Empire by himself.
Why were those 2 people so important to the project that they ended up being on there multiple times, at least 3 times on the album?
That's a great question. And so when people are listening to the album, right, they have to step outside of the fact that it's an album, and they have to think of it as 2 albums that I was making simultaneously. So I never meant for it to be one big album. That's number 1. So if you see, it wasn't like I went into it, I'm going to make 18 songs and I'm going to put these guys on 3 or 4 songs. Number 2, is you have to realize I started the album 3 years ago. I didn't know anybody in Christian hip hop. I had a relationship with 7, 8 years ago, or 13, like 10 years ago, that we circled back. And he was one of the first people I met when I came into CHH.
Right.
So I didn't have this big all-encompassing pool to pull from. So in my head, I was just like, I'm making songs. I didn't even know I was going to make a big album. Yeah. Hey, Co, can you put a hook on this? Will, I want you on this, or whatever. And they had, at the time that we started making, we got Next. I was on Seize the Moment, and Will put me on Coco, and I was just like building a relationship with the two of them, and I really didn't know other artists. So never did I imagine in my wildest dreams that I would make an 18-track album and they would end up so much on it. Co is one of my best friends. In fact, after we're done, I'm on my way to LaGuardia to pick him up, coming in from North Carolina. But I didn't say I'm putting Co on 3 or 4 songs. I didn't say I'm putting Will on 3 or 4 songs. It just totally happened organically. And Mile Marker, Romerican, Cross Bronx and Bridges, and Trailblazers, they all got made 2 years ago, or over 2 years ago. So none of those songs that I do recently, they were 4 of the most oldest songs on the album.
Right. And it's still bad. The thing I noticed about it, because I know this information, I think Ari's now being pulled into that. But because I knew this. I knew days that you were going to shoot videos for certain songs. Like, I knew the day that you was going to do The Time Is Now, right after the Kingdom Rising 2. I knew that, right? But going back to Co and Will, because you guys almost have an EP worth of songs together. And I feel like the chemistry between the 3 of you on any record is just...
It's nuts.
Like, where do you think that comes from? From your own personal relationships with them, from recording? Like, why does it work?
Yeah, I think that I was an elite level point guard, right? From the time I came out of the womb until whenever, right? So, like, I try to be the point guard in all my music, right? So it's like whether I'm A&Ring an EP that I'm doing, or I'm putting a song together, or I'm even coming into like MLK. Like, I looked at MLK, I'm like, I'm the last piece of the puzzle. All right, what can I bring to just help distribute to the project? You know what I'm saying? Like, so I think it, with Co and I, we're like this. We're outrageously close outside of music. And with Will and I just had great chemistry from the jump. And so I just think that it's easy to work with Co because he's the hook master, right? So he's going to Co is going to kill it. Great story, when it came to, what song was it? Oh, Mile Marker. So to show you how good Co Campbell is, all right, this is a true story. I had Co coming up to record other stuff, and I say, I don't have a hook for the song, by the way. And he's like 20 minutes from the studio. I was like, you know anybody? And he was like, I'll call you back. And he calls me back. He's like, I got you. And I mean, he just like threw that thing together. Like, so Co makes it easy. And Will and I, I think that, Will and I got that, like, I don't know. We both got that New York swag, and it works well together. So yeah, I don't know what it is, but I think we're 3 for 3, man. With We Got Next, and with Cross Bronx, and with Mile Marker, I think we're 3 for 3, man.
I believe so too, bro. I believe so too, no question. So, Ari listened to the album with me as I'm breaking it down. Of course, I'm going to break it down even further on Saturday, but I really want you to share your impressions of the album and songs that stuck out to you, especially those 2 songs that you really like got caught off guard, because there's a special thread between those 2 songs.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I am a hard critic when it comes to hip hop. Yes, my top 5, we have debates on it, Royce the 5'9". It's more secular, of course, but Conquest definitely introduced me to the Christian hip hop scene. And I I heard this album and I was like, best friend or not, this is one of the best albums I've ever heard.
Wow.
And he introduced me more into the space. So you were actually, I think, either the fifth or sixth Christian hip hop album I came across. And again, we're just chilling in the house and we're listening, and Purgatory stops me. And I'm like, Alex album? and usually when songs stop me like that, I'm like, yeah, this is it. So I'm listening to it. Human was another one. Never Alone.
With Redman.
Was something amazing and incredible. And then I'm forgetting what we actually shared in common.
Yes. Modern Day Songs.
Modern Day Songs.
I'm just letting you know, I should have let that out of the bat, but that's my favorite song, yeah.
Modern Day Psalmist?
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I'm repeating.
Listen, so Modern Day Songs to me reminded me of a modern boom bap version of Judgment.
Wow.
As far as like the structure, the authority that you were saying on the stuff, we're gonna dig deep on it when we meet up Saturday.
I love hearing this because I'm gonna be honest with you, and this is just 100% transparency. I honestly, and I'm my biggest critic. You don't really know me that well. He does. I typically don't really like my music. I love every song on this album. If I didn't, it wouldn't be on it. I love Modern Day Psalmist. I thought it was going to be overshadowed by a lot of the other songs on the album. So to hear you say that's your favorite made my day, because I'm like, I thought people would look at that as one of just like the extra throw-in records. And I'm like, I'm really rapping on that joint. You know what I'm saying? But so I love hearing that from you. That just made my day.
Yeah. We're going to talk more about it on Saturday, but the point that Ari was trying to get to was the fact that the two songs that really caught her off guard featured our guys, Sail Out the Corner, Purgatory and Trailblazers.
Yes, indeed. Yes. And
so we need to talk about Sail Out.
Well,
On Friday, everyone, is that correct?
Yes, album is out on Friday.
album's out tomorrow. I was texting with Selah yesterday, and he said something like, yo, we're coming heavy to the album release party. And I said, yo, thanks again for being on it. I said, people would cut off fingers to get 2 Selah features. I said, and I'm not good enough looking to walk around missing digits. He started dying laughing. He came so correct. And yeah, you know, Purgatory, I feel like is such a unique record. I think that it's really the people that have heard us perform it, because we performed it 2 or 3 times now, are like, yo, what is that? I'm like, yo, that'll be on the album. And I mean, Trailblazers, to get Selah and I on the same record, that was very organic. What happened was Selah just came to visit the studio, and Will was already there. We were making Mile Marker, and then Cyrate threw that beat out. And I was like, yo, you want to jump on or whatever? And what's funny is we had just, that was the first time Selah heard me rap, which he heard Cross Bronx and Bridges. And he was like, yo, you're floating on that. And so that was that day that we recorded Trailblazers was the first day Selah heard one of my tracks. And Will was in the studio visiting with Cole. We had just made Mile Marker. The beat came on, and we just knocked that joint out in 10 minutes. Trailblazers.
Oh yeah, we gotta expand on that on Saturday, because that's a lot of history, because it's almost like while you're creating this album, you are literally building connections and community and awareness of each other in just one space. And I'm actually assuming that this happened a lot at Chris Thompson's studio.
No, this happened at the studio you'll be at the album release where I record at. What happened was Cole and Will were visiting. I'm trying to think what they were here. Oh, you know what they were here for? Was it the Vision in Brooklyn? Maybe, or maybe it was or maybe I don't know. I forget. But they were visiting me, and we were making Mile Marker organic from scratch. Cyrate made that beat. We made it from scratch, and then what happened was yeah, Saylock came, and me, him, and Will just got in the booth on that Trailblazers, and we just recorded it. Like, so people have to realize a lot of this album is crazy organic how it came together. Like, literally, like there's a lot of it was pre like focused on, and especially as I got halfway through it. But a lot of the records were just totally organic, like just like, oh, you want to be on it? All right, jump in, let's do it. You know what I'm saying?
So I know Ari has a very specific question. I got a quick one before I volley you back to her. What's your favorite song on the album? Your personal favorite?
You stole my question.
Was this so?
That was my question.
I'm so sorry. Yeah. All right. So
It's a great question. I probably have to pick a favorite from each side because you know I made them simultaneously, and they hold different kinds of like value to me. Obviously, they're like having like 18 children, right? You love them all, but you know they hold a different piece of your heart or whatever. I think for me, just because of the gravity of what it means to me, I think that Human record is so important to me because it's like me pouring my soul out and basically telling people like, this is really the call of my life. This is me following the call of my life. You know what I'm saying? But in terms of just like loving the record, like from that side, Purgatory, I think is just outrageous. Like I absolutely love Purgatory. And then from the other side, I think it's probably a combination between Mile Marker and Cross Bronx and Bridges, just because like Mile Marker is such a vibe. Like I feel like Mile Marker is a vibe to itself. Like that joint, especially when the beat drops, when the way he crafted the beat for my verse, and Cross Bronx and Bridges, I just think is an ill New York anthem. You know what I'm saying? Like that joint we had, and even the story behind that. We got to tell the story on Saturday about Cross Bronx and Bridges video shoot, because literally to show you the level of Charlie and I's relationship, we're shooting in Washington Heights, which, you know, means a lot to me because I used to spend all my days in Washington Heights. And we got a few shots done and the traffic was bonkers down St. Nicholas, like cranking. And Charlie gave me the look because he knows how I am. And you saw at Rigor Mortis how I climbed up on the traffic light.
Yeah. Yes.
Yo, I'm Jackie Chan. I do my own stunts. You heard? Like, I will do anything for the shot. And Charlie gave me the look, and I gave him the look, and he gave me the look, and he was like, "You want to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah." And we went into oncoming traffic. I was getting clipped by cars to get that shot in Cross Bronx and Bridges. Like, I legit had 3 or 4 cars clip my leg. I had guys on motorcycles clipping.
He was literally rapping in traffic.
I was rapping in oncoming traffic, getting clipped by cars, like just to get the shot. So, yo, we get it in, man. We get it in.
I know you do. I've seen it firsthand, for sure.
Now, someone's commenting about playing a little, so you want to tell them more about the listening party that we referencing?
Yeah. Let's talk about that. And you have some very, I don't want to say intricate questions dealing with like his process and things he would change or things that he
Yes.
So, but before we go there, tell us about Saturday. For those coming through Saturday, what should people expect?
Yeah, well, so, you know, obviously I've put some events on to this point, and they've all been concerts. And something that I kind of wanted to do was, you know, for people that really, you know, are invested in my life and can be there, because there's a lot of people that simply can't be there. And that's understandable. But I wanted to open it up where, like, if you can be there, I want to have a night of celebration. Not where I have to think about performing and I have to have the stress of putting on a concert, where we just come and celebrate this lifetime achievement for me, because it really is one of the biggest accomplishments of my life. And I'm like, I just want to have a night where we celebrate with the people that I love. We play let those records ring off. We give context to a lot of them. And people come and have a you know, not that I thought of Kanye, but I looked at the way people had an experience when they went to those stadiums and did like listening. And, you know, I'm bringing a DJ and it's going to feel like you're at the club, and it's going to feel like we're in an intimate setting. And I'm big on people getting fed. So my boy owns a dope Italian restaurant in Yonkers. He's catering the event. Like, it's just going to be a party mixed with a club experience mixed with a Q&A and listen to the album and just celebrate. So it's going to be a very unique vibe. And actually, I'm bringing it around the country. So my whole, and there's a great segue, every cent, and I'm looking dead into the camera, every cent that this album generates is going to be used to reinvest into my artistry, to travel off of this album and go to other cities, perform, do listening parties, show up and preach at churches. Like, this album was never meant to, buy me a Rolex or, help me with my bills. This album was just going to be, I've never asked for a cent. I did 80 free features over the last 2 years. I put out 7 free EPs. I put on 6 concerts that I didn't make any money on. But this album is a fundraiser so that I could take that money and go around the country and preach this gospel. So this listening party is going to be part of what I integrate when I travel around the country.
I love it. So I just want to echo that point, man, because for those who don't know, and again, you're watching the Your DeProgrammed podcast, the next conversation series, that's ARI CONQUEST, that's Adam below. I don't know how much of this we say because we lost connection and now we're back. So I just want to reintroduce, the vibe again. And shout out to everybody in the chat for chiming in. Listen, Adam's album will be exclusively on Bandcamp come tomorrow.
For a long time, by the way. For a long time. If you're the type of person who's like, oh, it's in the theaters, I'll wait a month till it's on demand, and then I'll wait another month when it's $5.99. This album, I promise you, I give you my word, the earliest it's going to be on DSP's earliest, and that's if the Lord strikes down and forces me, will be next summer, earliest. And so don't be trying to take my 3 years of work and cop that joint for free. Please, I'm begging you. I've never asked anything for anybody in the music. Buy the album. I need it. I need it so I can travel. All jokes aside, I want to go preach this gospel. And this album is my, and by the way, I thought about something, guys, I was thinking about it today. It just came to me. I'm driving and I go, I wonder if people are like, oh, this guy's asking for $25 for his album. And I thought, this album cost me $25,000 to make. So if I charged $2,500, it's 10%. If I charge $250, it's 1%. I'm charging 0.1% of what it cost me to make this album. Yo, you can put the Starbucks down and buy my album.
We're gonna clip
Listen,
we're gonna
clip that because 0.1%.
Yeah,
you guys said it's a and it is a classic, man. I really believe that this album.
Yes.
I feel.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's important to note because again, we don't want to devalue music because of streaming services. Music is extremely devalued, and I look at the music that we make as works of art. You are supporting a work of art. If you go and really support, and again, listen, we don't need fear with the fans. It's like, listen, if you truly believe in what Adam does as an artist, as a minister, as a person, all the things he's done, it's not even asking for a favor. It's actually just asking people to give somebody their just due. This is a $25 worth album. It is. It just is. You know what I'm saying? So I really want to encourage people out there to not do the cheap thing or do the skimpy thing, whatever that is. It's like, listen, this guy's been giving you music for 2 years, maybe 3 years straight, right? Like 3 years straight, you've been getting quality music. The least you can do is support his magnum opus, because that's what it is. It's his magnum opus of a project.
And you hear the songs, you hear how much work and how much heart and passion and spirit went into each and every track.
Yeah.
And I would say that's worth the cost of admission alone.
Absolutely, absolutely. Speaking of the cost of admission, yeah. Like, how did we get here? As far as like him as because Ari is a hip hop nerd. We both are, but I know that Ari had very specific questions as far as you as an MC.
Yes. So, is this challenge? We're getting a little deep.
We're getting a little deep. I don't know how much more time we have. I don't know.
So there was 2 questions I still have. Two I have. One was that So I'm hearing your flow, I'm hearing the way that you challenge the beat in some of the songs. What would you say was the thing you perfected the most? Being a rapper for 3 years, doing things in your library, to you finally releasing, handpicking, and being like, these are my best songs. What's your strength, you would say, as a rapper?
What's my strength as a rapper, you said?
What are your strengths? Yeah.
I think two things, and I hear it universally on top of feeling this way, so it kind of affirmed for me. Number one is that I definitely think in a world full of rappers, I definitely think that I have a sound all to myself. When people hear me rap, it's like I don't sound like anybody else. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's very encouraging, because to me, the best rappers are that way, right? Like when you hear Jadakiss, you know it's Jadakiss. When you hear Fabulous, you know it's Fabulous. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that those guys were like the guys that I really followed, and I love the unique nature. It was like, I never crafted myself after another artist, but there were artists that I just loved, and I always loved Jada and Fab, and I thought they're just who they are. Like, they're so real and authentic, and so I just try to be myself. I rap about my life, so anything I rap about, I'm not making stories up. I'm telling you real stuff or wisdom that the Lord has given me over the course of time. So I think number one is just the uniqueness of being like a one of one. I feel like I am. And then secondarily, I think that in the vein of being all things to all mankind, I feel like something that I'm able to do is I'm not one size fit all. So I don't get on a record and be Adam. I feel like I'm really good about amending to the record and sounding like I belong on it, as opposed to, they just put Adam on it. But it's like I try not to just be on a song. I want to make the song better. If I don't make it better being on it, I shouldn't be on it. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like I bring to songs, I add to them rather than just be on them. Or I think about hats, right? And you buy like a hat and it says like one size fits all, and it's like, I don't think as a rapper, if you only have like one style, it's really tough, because like I heard great example. I was playing golf the other day, and my buddy was playing music, and there was like a mix or whatever, and this song with what's his name, Anthony, what's the R&B singer, Anthony Evans, is it?
Hamilton.
So this song comes on, and Chic Luch is on it. And I think Chic is phenomenal as a rapper. But I turned to my buddy and I'm like, Chic doesn't know how to rap on this record. Like, and it sounded like he's Chic Luke. Like he should be rapping about robbing you. You know what I'm saying? And here he's trying to rap on this like melodic, like, and so it was just funny, because like, to the point that I'm trying to make, I feel like, I could rap on a song that's a mile marker, that's very wavy and melodic. I could rap on Judgment Day, that's just like drill music. I could rap on a commercial record, You Love Never Alone. Like, Never Alone, I feel like should be on the radio. You know what I'm saying? It's like a very commercial record. So, long-winded answer to just saying I feel like I'm very unique, and I feel like I could jump on any song and amend to the song to add to it and feel like I'm embedded in the song rather than just slapped onto it.
So originality and versatility.
Yeah.
I guess I could have just said that.
No. I'm just taking it all in. I'm loving the answer. I'm loving you elaborating it, because everything you said is exactly what I heard. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think you have one more question. I'm trying to remember what
I'm gonna wrap up with that question.
You're gonna wrap it up with that question? I bet. Cool. All right. Okay, cool. We tested it out. So listen, I don't know how much more time we got. I have no idea what time it is. I didn't want to keep you 1 hour. I know you gotta pick up Cole really quick.
Yeah, I think 10 more minutes, 5-10 minutes is perfect.
5-10 minutes? All right, cool. So let me just ask one more question. What has your time in the Christian hip hop space taught you leading up to making this album or releasing this album?
I would say one thing it's taught me is that, at the end of the day, we as people tend to, take CHH and, put it in its own category, and then the world in its own category. Like, what I've learned is that we're all human, and that sounds so cliche because I have a song called Human, but like, I'm trying, like, this whole thing about like, like a lot of people, and at times I've griped about like, oh, I just see so much shady stuff in the Christian hip hop world. And I do, you know what I'm saying? But like, two things I'll say to that. Number one is we're humans, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're sinful. We're not, because we gave our life to the Lord, just gonna like operate like in a perfect manner, like, number one. And number two, rather than just being bitter about that, I have sought, and I feel like I've developed a reputation of being somebody who doesn't do shady anything, doesn't have ulterior motives or self-centered motives. I treat people right. I reciprocate people. I did 80 features for free, including artists that no one has ever heard of. You know what I'm saying? And, one of the greatest compliments that I got was an artist who's like a no-name, artist, and, would be looked at as like, you go to the back of the room in CHH, you know what I'm saying? And he called me one day and we were just talking, and he said, yo, Adam, like, I talk to so many artists all the time, and people got so much respect for you and the way you treat everybody the same way, no matter who they are. You don't care who nobody is. And you do free features for guys that, we're like guys like me who are, we're not really good and people don't give us any time of day, but you did free features for us, the same way you do them for big artists. And I'm like, yo, I look at people the same way. Like, I don't play favoritism. I'm not trying to get ahead. I'm not trying to like utilize people. So rather than be bitter about CHH, I've just tried to be somebody that at the end of the day, my reputation precedes me. You know what I'm saying? And people, I always say to people, if somebody's saying something about me bad, they're going to have to take it up with the Lord, because I know the Lord's for me, because I don't do anything ill. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think the Lord has really blessed my road less taken because of it. You know what I'm saying? And so I would just say, like, recognize that even though people are, Christians, they're going to fall short. I fall short every day. So don't look at it like, oh, because now we should be held to a higher standard. And it is very sad that a lot of the stuff I see in the secular world happen in Christian hip hop. But, I feel like they're going to know we're Christians by our love, number one. And number two, the proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding is just another way saying you'll know them by their fruit. You feel me? And like, my fruit speaks for itself. And the people that you see me aligned with, they're people that consistently produce good fruit. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I realize that people aren't about that life, like they're not really walking the walk, I don't go bash them. I just move on, and you know what I'm saying? I just keep going. But I'm picking up Co tonight, right, from the airport. Like, that's somebody I'm dumb close to. You know what I'm saying? Like, music aside, Co and I are dumb close, and he's somebody who really walks the walk. You're somebody who really walks the walk. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like somebody that I'm managing. It's like, if you see me align with them and hype on them, it's because I really know who they are. In Conquest, you know this better than anybody. If somebody performs on one of my shows, it's because I have a personal relationship with them. And I've gotten to know that they're really, because I'm going to have to stand before the Lord and give an account. When the Lord says, Brian, you put on this concert, and these were the people you put on the roster, yo, I have to give an account for that. So if you see me put somebody on, it's because I know that they're walking the walk. And if you see me moving ahead with people, it's because of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, so yeah, in the CHH space, I've just learned that, yo, you just got to find the people that you really rock with and really rock with you. And I want to publicly say, and Ari, it's wonderful to meet you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to say, like, there's nobody in this space in the last 2.5 years, nobody that has gone harder for me than you. Are there a couple people that have gone as hard for me? Absolutely. But nobody's gone harder for me and really stood with me in the gap like you have. You know what I'm saying? And I'm big on publicly, acknowledging that, because you didn't have to do all that. You know what I'm saying? But we have a beautiful bond apart from music. I trust you. And when it comes to my music specifically, you're like, you're a real cheerleader for me, man. So that's why when I look, this album is my child. You know what I'm saying? So when I have you host my album release, that's me literally saying, yo, do you want to be the godfather to my child? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel like the godfather of the road, let's take it. I feel like the godfather. You know what I'm saying? And like I've said in the clip before, like on IG stories, bro, and I see Saga in the chat shots, and then he said that, Adam's one of the coolest in the game, New York City hip hop, absolutely. But what I said in the chat, like what I said on IG stories, is just like, listen, man, I feel that way for a lot of artists in New York City. Like I'm proud of what New York City is producing musically, and New Jersey as well. Like I feel the same way if Saga drops his album. I feel the same way with Richard Dalton. You name anybody, you know what I'm saying? As long as they do good work. And I think my thing is I'm about celebrating great work. You know what I'm saying? I'm not the only game in downtown. I'm about celebrating great work. And especially if it's coming from somebody who has done so much for the genre, from the events, from the people you've helped, from the people you've platformed. You know what I'm saying? Because artists don't necessarily need to do that. Artists are very much about their own thing. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But again, the fact that we are servants of the kingdom, that we're trying to bring people and build community. And I think you've done a really awesome job of doing that. And I know that you never got all the thanks you might have needed or gotten in every situation, but God sees it. And I'd like to think that me doing my part is me thanking you in return. You get what I'm saying? So
absolutely. And I appreciate that. And I want to say, because I'm looking now, I haven't been looking at the comments, but I'm just looking at some of the people in the comments. I look at, Gary, you know what I mean? Gary is somebody who texts me almost daily, encouragement, not just with music, but with life. And he's somebody who we talk about life, and we talk about music, and he just is, I tell him all the time, if I had a Mount Rushmore, he would be on the Mount Rushmore of my life. You know what I'm saying? I look at Saga. There's a reason why I started the album rollout from day one with the song with Saga. Number one, like I said to you earlier, that is my proclamation that this music is the call of my life. But that song means so much to me because Saga is somebody I look up to as an artist, as a person. He killed that feature as one of the illest features I've ever heard in my life in all genres, anytime. And that song is so impactful to me. And he's somebody who I've grown close to and who I think, in my opinion, and I tell him all the time, is one of the most gifted music artists. Forget CHH, non-CHH, just one of the illest artists in the world. And he's somebody whose music needs to be heard by the world. And I look at you.
Yes,
I was telling Ari about Saga last night, right? We were talking about it, and I was telling him, Saga's been doing the battle rap thing, but it's just like he's such an amazing songwriter. And he's a great lyricist, obviously, you gotta be a battle rap. But it's just like the vocalist that he is, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's not a lot of battle rappers who make really great original music, and Saga is one of them.
He doesn't,
you know what I'm saying? So
I tell him all the time, he only puts hits out. You know what I'm saying? Like, he just, everything he puts out is like, wow, this is like a hit record right here. Wow, that is like another hit record. Wow, that's one of the biggest records I've heard all year. So, like, then I look at, like, Chiwaz. Chiwaz is, when I say, like, and I've been blessed to get to know Chiwaz extremely closely, like, he's family now. Chiwaz is like, when you read about the Bible and they say there's angels, you don't know when you're entertaining an angel. When I met Chiwaz, and as I've gotten to know him, I'm aware that I'm entertaining an angel because he is the salt of the earth. He's one of the purest souls I've ever met. Like, he's going to be one of the people that, like, is going to be first ballot Hall of Fame in heaven, like he's just a world-changing heart. And I look at, like, Nick Petronio, like another one who's just the salt of the earth that's inspired me. Jay Solo, like, I'm just looking at the caliber of people that are in this live alone. And when you see the caliber of people that will be at the album release, like, I'm just so rich, it's like ridiculous. Like, when people meet me and they're like, I'm like, yo, my life is so wealthy because I have a beautiful family. be moved to tears. I have a beautiful family, amazing friends. Like, I'm just blessed, man. I'm blessed.
Amen. All praises, all praises. Ladies and gentlemen,
Amen.
it don't get any deeper, more heartfelt.
Yeah, it does not. It does. I felt that, bro.
It really
I
doesn't.
felt that. You want to close this out? I don't know if you have any.
Listen, I mean, I
love
was
you guys.
here. He got us crying and he turned up in the car.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, if there's anything that needs to be said, is that what you're seeing is exactly who you get. This man is a man of his word, a man of God, and a man of his heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when those three things come together, you get authenticity and you get a genuine person.
Yeah.
And I think that's where art shines the most.
Mm.
When you're genuine and you're authentic and you really are preaching and acting what you preach.
Are you preaching now? I need a collection for it again?
Listen. You know, there's some things in the works, you know? Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. You have honored us. Thank you for taking the time out of your day. I'm going to pick up your friend. You're probably like, Adam, I'm not here. Thank you so much. Please let the people know again. Bandcamp, when is the album releasing? Listening party.
Yeah, go for it.
Shout out. Go ahead.
Go for it.
Yeah. So the album is up right now for pre-sale. I think that 30 copies have already been sold today, which is really encouraging. The album does actually come out tomorrow. My encouragement, and this is my last plea, like, if you believe in what I'm doing, I'm humbly asking you to buy the album. It goes a long way. It's gonna literally, I'm taking 100% of the funds. They will not be used for anything else except to fund me traveling the country to preach this gospel, let these records fly. And, Conquest will tell you, he's been at a few of my shows. Like, the testimonies that get birthed at these events, man, are just extraordinary. So, hopefully I've proven to you that I'm a good steward of what the Lord entrusts to me. And I promise you, if you buy this album, that your money, your $25 or whatever you decide to give me for the album, it will reap a reward in heaven. I promise that.
Absolutely. And Patient just said something that I agree with.
Yeah.
Streams are cool, but
purchases are better. Streams are cool.
Support your artists, support the people that you love, support the message. Do not be cheap, like my co-host has said. Do not be cheap. When you are backing something, go all in. It is worth all $25, ladies and gentlemen. We have been privileged with early release, hearing it out. If you don't take my word for it, Conquest is an amazing critic. He is doing a countdown, breakdown of every album in the 2024, and he is our favorite. And what he thinks of Rolex taken for the party.
Yeah, we gonna
But I will tell you, Adam, your album is certified classic with me. I want to congratulate you on the success so far. I wish and pray much more for you.
Yeah.
And again, thank you so much, Adam, for embracing us with your presence today.
Yeah.
I really wish you the best, and I really hope to meet you on Saturday.
Yeah. Hey, yo, one more thing. One last thing, man. I'm going to be doing something special tomorrow. Look at all my socials. You know how I do on the social media. I'll be hitting y'all. I'll be DMing y'all. I know y'all hate me at this point, but I'll be DMing y'all. Listen, I did a special review for Adam's project, man.
Wow.
I listened to 30 albums at least. Secular and Christian. At least twice. Because...
I just want to go to bed, guys. This is real.
At least twice. Because I wanted this, I want my word to be bought. Like, listen, you know how people say album of the year and all this other stuff? It's like, listen, I can say what this album is because I've listened to 30 other records that came out this year, Christian and secular. Tory Deshawn, Schoolboy Q, LL, you know what I'm saying? Eminem. I've listened to them all, twice at least, and did a hardcore evaluation. And we're going to talk about it tomorrow. You're going to see that. But in the meantime, in between time, last but not least, get these guys out, bro.
Yes.
Stop playing
Well,
me.
let's take it releases tomorrow on Bandcamp, right?
Bandcamp, exclusively.
Exclusively Bandcamp, guys. So I think that was a question when someone said, where can I donate? Buy the album.
Buy the album.
Buy the
Yeah,
album
if you go,
on Bandcamp.
you go to my profile, the direct link is in my profile on Instagram. Made it very easy, and I can honestly say that when you're a kid, right? The best feeling is Christmas Eve, and it's like this is the first time as an adult I feel like it's like Christmas Eve. Like I'm like, like I can't wait to see this review from you. I can't wait for people to hit me like with I don't want people to hit me just so I could be patted on the back. I can't wait to hear this verse by this guy or this song or that. Like I love when people hit me and everybody has a different favorite song and everybody's like, it makes my day, man. Like, my mom lives in a 65 and older community in Florida. She's like, I don't know if I could push the album to my community, but I'll talk to the youth pastor. You know what I'm saying? There's no the 70-year-olds in her community are not listening to hip hop, but I'm hyped, man. I'm hyped, and I'm so grateful that you guys made the time to talk about it, man. It's gonna be fire. I love you guys. So I'm looking forward to Saturday.
So we're gonna hashtag that. Happy Adam's Eve.
If you could be there on Saturday, hit me directly. I'll tell you more info about the album release is gonna be lit. It's gonna be an experience. It's not just about the album. DJ Why Not's gonna be spinning crazy records all night. Gary and Conquest are gonna be hosting. There's gonna be all types of people. There's gonna be great food, Italian food catered. It's gonna be lit, man. It's gonna be lit. We celebrate.
I can't wait to hear the album. I got so many questions when I see you Saturday, boy. I'm gonna be hitting you crazy. But listen, we're done here, right?
I love
Listen.
you. Let me go.
Saturday. Tune in.
Let's get it. Thank you, guys. I love you.
Thank you, man. Listen, this has been
Arianna Apparicio, aka Ari.
I'm Conquest. That's my man Adam. Road Let's Take It Out on Bandcamp Friday, November 1st, 2024. Make sure you get it. This has been your DeProgrammed podcast / the Next Conversation series. And until next time, enjoy your regular schedule.
DeProgrammed.
Love you guys.
Later.